My name is Shelia Patterson. I am here in Jacksonville by way of New Jersey, New York, and Jamaica. There's something about the room. There's something about the room when women sit at the table. I brought some things with me, and I love leftovers. I love to sit at the table. Most of you women seem like very good cook from this side and over there. And there's a habit that I have. If I know you're a good cook, I'll bring my container and leave it in the car. Just in case. There's some droppings. There's some crumbs that I can catch from your table. I sat here and I listened to each and every person. I took notes. And I want you to know, when you're invited to the table, that means you're special. Someone thought about you. Someone thought that you were beautiful enough. Someone thought that you were worthy enough to sit at the table. When I think of the table, I think of the dining room. Most people, they're not sitting at the dining room table anymore. The dining room table was a place where deals were made, stories were told, things happened. I learned from my grandmother at her table. There were teachable moments. There were things that they shared with you that they wouldn't tell you anywhere else, because there were comfort foods at the table. The table is beautifully laid. I can see it in my mind's eye. There is a runner down the middle. There's a centerpiece on that table. And to the left is your china cabinet, your crystal glasses, the flatware. And the chairs are saying, come on, come on, come on, sit down and let's talk. That's usually the table where Big Mama, she look in your eyes and say, girl, you have something to tell me. Right. Come on down here and tell me all about it. Right? I garner a lot from the table. Wisdom is at the table. Vulnerability is at the table. Lessons are at the table. The table is a place that things happen. And so many people, they're far removed from the table today. We may have virtual tables. It could be a walk in the park, in the minivan, but wherever it is, if you're invited to sit at the table, you bring your wisdom, you're the teacher, and you're the student, if you're willing and open. The important thing is that you go to that table knowing that there are lessons to be learned at that table. There are three things that I learned at the table. I learned self-awareness. I also learned sisterhood. And I learned service. I learned service because I like to drink tea. I love tea. It's very calming. When I drink my tea, sometimes it causes me to think. I focus. And as I focus, I want to make sure that the right amount of whatever I need is in my cup. Sometimes we go to the table empty, and we want to be filled. And only when a woman is willing to be vulnerable and to be open and tell us the truth about her, that's the only time our cup get full. Self-awareness is so important. We need to know what we're doing right. We need to know what we're doing wrong. And sometimes it's hard to learn outside there. But when you sit at the table where honesty is given, you learn so much at the table. I sat at Coach Lisa Nichols' table virtually, and there are three things that I learned. She asked these three questions, and I ponder them. And the questions are, what are you proud of? Okay? What do you need to forgive yourself for? What are you committed to? I am proud to be a mother. I'm proud to have a great relationship with my sons. I'm also a proud grandmother. What do I need to forgive myself for? When I heard that question, I stopped. I was afraid. Because there is something that so many of us in this room need to forgive ourselves for. We can forgive everybody else. But when it comes to you, we can't forgive ourselves. And I stand here today in front of you, and I can tell you, I had a rough teenage year. Low self-esteem. When you have low self-esteem, it can bring you to the low of the low. I forgive myself for abortions. I forgive myself for leaving a 24-year-old marriage that ended in divorce. I forgave myself for not thinking I was worthy enough to stand before anyone. Because I thought if anyone could hear my truth, they would not like me. They would not love me. They would not appreciate me. But I had a grandmother. And that grandmother taught me, if you can look up, you can get up. Right. My grandma was the kind of woman that believed in squatting low so I can stand on her shoulders and see my possibilities. Wow. Right. I sat at her table. And at her table, she shared beautiful things. She shared her joys, her sorrows, and her truth. She cried tears that caused me to cry, not knowing why. But as I got older and life happened, I realized that I too can stand just like she did, because she showed me how to walk. She showed me how to stand. She showed me how to be mean. I came by here to tell you, I'm willing to squat for you, to stand on my shoulder so you can see your possibilities. I want you to know, sitting at the table, I hope you brought your container, because I did. Never leave home without your container. Wow. You must always catch something so that you can take it with you in the workplace, in your marriage, in those situations that you cannot talk about. I learned relentless. I learned from my grandmother. I've seen her cry. I seen her bounce back. And I didn't know what that was. But I want to tell you, she's dead and gone. But she will be proud of me to see that I took a little bit of crumbs from her table. Right. And I used that crumbs for where I am today. I haven't arrived. So far from that, I have not arrived. But I want to tell you that I came here to let you know that I learned a few things from the eagles too, my darling. What I learned from the eagle, one of my favorite birds, is that a mother eagle, mother eagles, they're wise, they're smart, and they're strong. That mother eagle, when she knows that it's time for that eaglet need to get out the nest, she would put broken glass, she would put broken sticks, she would put things in there to make it uncomfortable. And then she would say, okay, it's time to go. We're going to go for a walk or a fly or whatever we're going to do. And she would take them out to the highest part of the mountain. And she would spread her wings wide. And those little baby eaglets would land on there, and they're going down and thinking everything is fine. But all of a sudden, Mama Eagle closed her wings. And when she closed her wings, they're like, oh my God, my mother has lost her mind. And then she'd go right down and stoop down and catch them on her wing, her shoulder again, her wings. And she did this over and over and over. She would take them back up until all of a sudden they realized, oh, I got wings. That's what I stopped by to tell you today. As you sat at this table, I hope you found that you have wings. If you haven't found your wings yet, I want you to know they're there. You just need to move them a little bit. Yes. The other lesson that I learned from the eagle, I love the eagle because as women, somebody spoke about being 40. I got to age 40, and all of a sudden, I said, I've had enough. I'm not doing this anymore. I will not be a people pleaser anymore.
Right.
I am going to live the life I was brought here to do.
Amen.
Sometimes you have to stand on your truth, not in your truth.
That's right.
But you have got to stand up and make a difference, even if it's just for you.
That's right.
And the eagle can live until age 70. But at age 40, that eagle has to make a very strong decision. Do I die, or do I go through the painful process of becoming the best person I could be at the second half of my life? And as I look at that eagle, I realize I too did the same thing at age 40. I stopped and I took notes and I decided no more. The eagle at age 40, the wings are heavy. The beak is hard to hold on to their food. They can't pull their food apart. Their talons or toes no longer hold their prey. They try and they catch the prey and it falls. They can no longer feed themselves. They can no longer help their family. But there's a moment that the light goes on and what they have to do is do the hard work. They decide to go right back up on the peak. And when they get up there, they have to stay in the nest. But the first thing that the eagle will do before the eagle gets in the nest is start banging and banging their beak against the rock. They keep banging until it's broken. Can you imagine what that feels like? Once that beak is broken, they get in the nest and they wait. They wait for their beak to grow back. Once the beak grows back, they pull out every toenail, every one of them, one by one. Then they go back into the nest and they wait. They wait with purpose. And as soon as those toenails grow back, they go for the next thing. They start pulling out those feathers one by one. And ladies, you know how it is. You have to pull a hair from each, or maybe something from the bikini line, and you know that hurts. But that bird, that eagle, will pull every feather out because those feathers were heavyweight, were dead weight. The feathers have to go. They start with the beak, they pull out the toes, they pull out the feathers, and then they go back in the nest and wait, and they wait. And one day, they realize feathers are back. And if the feathers come back, they realize I have all I need for the second half of my life. So now the eagle gets on the peak and look out and say, watch me go. And the eagle take off. And you know the eagle has the greatest eyesight. I don't have contacts in. I know you don't because you have glasses. But the eagle looks out there and the eagle sees the possibilities. And the eagle go out there over the ocean, hover, and you can see the pink salmon. He said, I'm coming for you. And that eagle go down. And he say, yes. And that eagle catches its prey. And that eagle pick up that salmon and take it to a nice little place they can lay it down, and the beak go to work. Get that food ready. I say to you today, as you sat at this table and listened and learned, some of us were vulnerable in telling our truths. Some of us were very open about who we are, where we've been, the things we want to do in the world. I say this to you. Who are you? Have you sat at this table without taking notes? Have you sat at this table without knowing who you are? Have you sat at this table and realized that, wait a minute, life is going by, I need to do something about it? I want to say to you today and every day after this, I want to share just this little thought with you. And I'll close with this. To keep our positive influence movement for strong women, we have to become aware. We have to become aware of who we are as women and as sisters. And then we have to begin to serve. Let's serve each other. Let's not be the kind of woman that sees you doing well and sends a tweet out there, and the tweet is negative. The tweet is saying, you think you are so and so and so, and you're not. That's not what it's for. The goal is to make sure that we are here to serve our sisters. The late, great Maya Angelou said, a phenomenal woman is a woman that is passionate, kind, understanding, strong mentally and emotionally. She is one that stands, she's one that stands tall when life does everything to knock her down. That phenomenal woman is you, and you, and you, and you, all of you. You've taken the time out of your evening to come and sit at the table where someone laid it out for you. Someone thought about you enough to know that there were some crumbs that would be given here that you can catch in your container, and you can take it home, and you can do with it that which you need to rise from where you are and make a difference, starting with you.